ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ वर्स् नंबर 6 संसारस्वप्नतुल्यो हि रागद्वेषादिसङ्कुलः स्वकाले सत्यवद्भाति प्रबोधे सत्यसद्भवेत्. So this is a portion where the whole process of a suffering in human life has been shown by the Shankaracharya. Then the cause is ignorance, self-ignorance, which definitely leads to placing the I in non-I. It is non-I, is taken as I. I means Atma. Everything else other than Atma is Anatma. And that Anatma is evident to the Atma. That's the definition of Anatma. Which is evident to the Atma is Anatma. And Atma is evident because it is self-evident. So, Adhyasa we call Atasmin Tad Buddhi. What is not that is taken as that. What is not the self is taken as the self. And so, taking this body-mind-sense complex as oneself, taking it as I means then suffer the limitations. Since it is not my nature, I want to get rid of this sense of limitation, sense of smallness. And I do get. I'm able to drop the sense of smallness from I. I remain. The sense of smallness goes. A moment of happiness is you remain. But sense of smallness goes away. That itself indicates that's not my nature. If I'm intrinsically small, I will not be able to drop the sense of smallness. That's how I use sense. It's just a sense. There is no smallness in I. And that is the experience where you are comfortable. Once you gain your nature, you are comfortable. That shows limitlessness is your nature. Deep sleep state, also you get rid of this sense of smallness, etc. I remain. So that becomes the goal. But in a waking state, again, due to superimposing this body-mind-sense complex, take the body, mind, sense complex as self, sense of smallness, limitation, uneasiness centered on I, uncomfortability. Need not be unhappy all the time, but a general discomfort pertaining to oneself is all the time there. And there is world, which is also real for me. We saw that. So whatever gives a comfort to the body, mind, sense complex, I like. Whatever gives discomfort to this body, mind, sense complex, I dislike. Raga, dvesha. And further kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, everything arises. And when it arises, it definitely, I suffer. So this is how Jnanam gives rise to samsara. Yesterday we talked from the Maya. So before I go further, I would like to clarify. Sometimes Acharya uses Maya, sometimes uses ignorance, avidya. So whether they are confused or we have to clarify so that our understanding will remain properly. Let's talk about this ignorance, Karana Sharira, we call generally. This Sthula and Sukshma, the bodies were present in a causal state, Karana Sharira. From that only it comes out. That's how it is called Karana Sharira. We generally call ignorance, avidya. And this is at the Vyashti level, individual level. At a Samashti level, also, well, you can extend the same principle. What is that principle? Well, that the Sthula Prapancha, the gross universe, and the subtle universe also has come from this causal universe. Right? Just as at a Vyashti level, the Sthula Sukshma Sharira were potentially there in a Karana Sharira, it has come out of this, that's the cause. Same way, this Sthula Sukshma Prapancha also has come from this causal universe, otherwise called Maya. Because they were there in potential condition, they were there in unmanifest condition. I told you yesterday, all the unmanifest names and forms is nothing other than Maya. Now when we talk about this Karana level or the state of existence, even though we use the word Karana Sharira and Karana Prapancha, Avidya and Maya, really speaking at the Karana level, the microcosm-macrocosm division is not very evident. This micro-macro division is evident at a gross level, is evident at the subtle level, but is not evident at the causal level. Because potential, unmanifest. Unmanifest thing means nothing is evident. That's called unmanifest. So basically, at the level, Karana level, at a potential level, at an unmanifest level, microcosm, macrocosm, Vyashti, Samashti division is there, but it is not evident. So, and because it is unmanifest, avyaktam, and therefore in Shastra there are two approaches. In one approach, they make a division between this Karana Shariram and Karana Prapancha, microcosm, macrocosm, ignorance and Maya. This is one approach. And there is another approach in which they do not make this distinction. Because the distinction is there but not evident. Please understand this. Distinction is there but not evident. And if you want an example, the nearest example, well, is during the waking state. Well, I can experience the division between Vyashti and Samashti. During dream state also I am able to experience the division between microcosm and macrocosm. dream body, the dreamer, and the dream world. Right? So that division is there in both the states. But in deep sleep state, where everything has gone to unmanifest, potential condition, well, I cannot experience a division between the microcosm and macrocosm, Karana Sharira and Karana Prapancha, Avidya and Maya. And therefore, that is why Karanavastha, well, is also called Nirvikalpavastha, because the divisions are not evident. There is no division, we should not say. Divisions are not evident. And therefore, some of the acharyas, instead of saying ignorance, they say Maya. Some of the acharyas describing Maya says avidya. I will give you an example. In Vivek Chudamani, Vivek Chudamani, there are some questions. A Shishya asks to teacher. Teacher replies. One of the questions was, what is anatma? And then definitely Acharya started answering this Sthula Sharira is anatma, Sukshma Sharira is anatma, and explained. When it came to Karana Sharira, Shankaracharya ji describing Karana Sharira, instead he described Maya. You can see the verses. Avyakta namni paramesha shakti, etc., etc. Sannapya sannapya ubhayatmikano. Bhinnapya bhinnapya ubhayatmikano. Sangapya nangapya ubhayatmikano. Mahadbhuta anirvachaniya rupa. So, Shankaracharya ji himself, instead of describing a Vyashti Karana Sharira, he describes Maya. Here, in Atma Bodha, even though I said yesterday from the Maya, but Acharya uses the word Ajnanam, Avidya. Clear? So this is how they are interchangeably used, because the division between the microcosm and macrocosm is not evident in unmanifest potential condition. That is the reason. That's the only thing I wanted to clarify. Now, and what is the, now I will not use word Maya because it is not there here. So this ignorance of the self does two jobs. Basically, it is twisting the whole thing. And for that, I will give first an example. When there is a rope, well, right in front of me, in semi-darkness, well, I know that there is something, but I don't know it is a rope. And therefore, and moreover, you might have watched certain snake movies also, perhaps. And so in your mind, snakes are lingering. And therefore, and sometimes it happens, this has been described in Brahma Sutra also. When you take one thing as another, there is some sadrishyam, similarity. So sometimes the snake is in such a place, the rope is in such a place where generally snakes are moving. Right? Also, snake in that place also in such a position, lying like this or something. Then also you will mistake it as a snake. Also, the color of the rope sometimes is similar to the snake. Sometimes the thickness of the rope is such that which matches with the snake, right? So because of any reason, well, definitely when rope is not known as a rope, well, ignorance twists the fact and it projects as unreal snake. This is the first karyam, effect of the ajnanam, Maya. Ajnanasya karyam. First, projection of unreal is a function of ignorance. And once I see the snake, even though snake is unreal, definitely, well, I don't know it is unreal. And so the second job of ajnanam is making me mistake unreal thing as real. So, two jobs are there of this ajnanam. the rope ignorance, is projecting an unreal snake and making that unreal snake as real. And then I say, this is frightening snake, whatever. And that gives rise to real palpitation, fear, everything. So a non-existent snake unreal snake produces real sweat, palpitation, fear on the body. In mind. This is the glory of ignorance. Shankaracharya gives another example in this verse, Swapna Tulyaha, comparable to Swapna. So we will understand Swapna example. So here also, there is ignorance, self-ignorance. And because of that, there is a projection of a dream. Not self, but ignorance of the waker. You are lying on the bed and you get a sleep. So you disown yourself as a waker. And it created a dream world. And it is unreal dream world, naturally. If this much is the effect of the sleep or ignorance, that's good. But it goes further. Unreal dream, you can enjoy. Unreal. But basically what happens is that reality of the waker is plucked by this ignorance and transferred to the dream world. So waker becomes unreal, all non-existent as though, and the dreamer and the dream world becomes real. So here also this is an example. So second job of ignorance pertaining to the waker is this: after projection of the unreal dream world, ignorance plucks this reality of the waker and transferred to the dream world. Then in dream world, definitely you don't look upon the dream objects as unreal, but they become mahareal. In fact, to the extent that sometimes, the consequences are so real that even after waking up, you feel the consequences. People come and ask also that I saw such and such thing in dream, and what will be the consequence in my waking life? That is, and there are some signs, etc. Suchakaha are there, described in some Shastra, which you see in the dream, and then that effect will be there in the waking world, etc. But basically this dream, unreal world can create such a problem that even after waking up also one will have consequences. So this is regarding a swapna. Shankaracharya ji says, the self-ignorance also, that was an example. Self-ignorance also has created such a havoc in one's life. The fact is there is nothing other than the self, nothing other than self. There is nothing other than the waker. Waker itself, under the spell of ignorance, deep sleep, has created in the form of dreamer and the dream world, and also real dreamer and real dream world. Same way here also, there is nothing other than the self, and there are plenty of sentences in the Shastra, Atma eva idagam sarvam, etc., etc. Neha nasti kinchana. There is no duality at all here. There is no duality. People think there is no duality, means the experience of duality is there, and still Shastra says there is no duality. Duality is experience, but it's not real. That's what it wants to convey. But anyway. And Bhagavan also says Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, etc. Everything is Brahman, etc. But this peculiar ignorance, self-ignorance, is capable of twisting the fact. So Atma, which is non-dual, whole, is misrepresented as a Dvaita Prapancha, the waker and the waking world. And that duality also is considered real. So basically creation of an unreal Dvaita Prapancha is a job of self-ignorance. And up to this also, there would not be a problem. Unreal dual world, dualistic world we enjoy also. When you enjoyed any TV serial, It is like that, thousands of things you see, right? But you enjoy it. There is some serial in which some marriage of Anupama, etc. was there. And it is in the serial. But the women, certain women who were watching that, so in a particular episode that marriage was to happen. And these women basically got ready for that. Who are the watchers got ready for that. You can see. So, and you see, suppose your hero or heroine is dying, but you know for sure that she or he is right now doing some shooting of the another serial. So, unreal Dvaita Prapancha is a source of entertainment. But the self-ignorance, this Maya doesn't stop there. Doesn't stop there. Making the waker real and the waking world also real. This is I, this is non-I. The duality is real. And the whole struggle is because of this duality. We have discussed this. And therefore, basically, problems caused by this, then world, once it becomes real, problem caused by the worlds are more real. Atma becomes unreal. To the extent that if someone says, you are Atma, you are Brahman, the person says that cannot be possible, that is not possible. So Atma becomes unreal, like the waker becomes unreal, and the dreamer becomes real, and the dream world becomes real. The same thing happens here. And since the world is very real, we try to solve so many problems. I keep on solving different problems, and that doesn't really solve the issue. That doesn't, some rope snake is there and somebody is doing a japa or etc. Well, it doesn't solve the problem. Only thing is we have to light up that torch. That's it. Same way, here also one should realize the Atma alone is Satyam, the waker and the waking world basically is Mithya. They are experiential, they have empirical reality, but the truth is one Atma alone on this. So when we realize this Atma, Satyam, Jagan, Mithya, then only the issue is resolved. So, but it looks very difficult to accept. So anyway, Shankaracharya ji says, Samsara, this Dvaita Prapancha, this Mithya Dvaita Prapancha, and which is projected by the self-ignorance or a Maya, but due to reality becomes a problem. So Ragadveshadi Sankula, it is full of Ragadvesha. People generally say that, Swamiji, we have a few things for which I have a raga, some handful things, and few things for which I have a dvesha. And for other things I have a dispassion. But it's not true. Only thing is, when you come in contact with the object, that object doesn't remain, we do not remain dispassionate towards all these objects. Either object becomes an object of a like, or it becomes an object of a dislike. So potentially, other objects are also a sources of ragadvesha. That's how he says, samsara, this world, which is real for this jiva. This is world. It's a Ishvara Srushti. Yesterday we saw also. Because the Brahman with the Maya, Tan manifest name and form only has come into this form. So it's a Ishvara Srushti. Ishvara alone has manifested into this, because that's the only substance. I'm using this word substance because of yesterday we discussed. That's why Ishvara Srushti. But still Ishvara Srushti cannot be called samsara. But that's because this waker, the jiva, he also doesn't know I am Brahman. So he takes himself to be identified with the body, mind, sense complex. He is a waker, and for him, this waking world is real. Towards which, he will have a raga, dvesha, etc. So it becomes samsara, source of suffering. The same world is a source of suffering. For Jnani also, that will never happen, because that yesterday we discussed the avarana shakti, etc. The ignorance has gone. And for that, he knows he is Brahman and everything else is Brahman. The world, the names and forms are mithya. So he remains in this transactional world, in this empirical world, he remains in Ishvara Srushti. This Ajnani, ignorant, remains in a Jiva Srushti, Ragadveshadi, etc. And therefore there is a suffering. Anyway, and So it says here, well, Ragadveshadi Sankulaha, you can discuss many things in that. Every news item, let's say, every news item, either hearing that, seeing that, either you get elated, or either your blood starts boiling, right, in current condition. Anyway, under Adi Padat, you can take Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madamatsaya, etc. Infinite emotional problems. So I am caught in one worry or other. That is how, once you become a jiva, well, then unpredictability, uncontrollability is the lot. Whole life is spent in controlling the setup. So after years of struggle, only people realize that nothing can be under our control. Initially, free will is working very well. And so we feel that we will be able to change everything. And slowly, after years of experiences, the free will diminishes and fatalism, fate arises. Nothing can be changed. Swamiji, what cannot be changed will not undergo a change, etc. Anyway, so philosophy becomes different after years of experience. Anyway, generally the whole life goes into tempering one knob or the other, etc. At the age of 60, 70, one realizes that I have actually, operated a wrong knob. I should have worked with self under the ignorance while I was having these issues. So, Swakale Satyavat Bhati, during the time of this appearance of samsara, well, it appears real due to the second function of the ignorance, the plucking the reality from the Atma to the world, to the jiva. And so, this is the topic here. So, Prabodhe Sati, well, Swakale Satyavat Bhati, under the spell of ignorance, Ajnana Kale Satyavat Bhati, Prabodhe Sati, when one gains a knowledge, self-knowledge, the same world becomes Asat Bhave, well, it remains as a just non-substantial names and forms. Unreal will remain. It will remain. At the experiential level, it will remain. That's called mithya. What you experience but doesn't have an independent existence, that is mithya. So asat bhave does not mean shunyam. People sometimes, asat has a meaning of shunyam. But asat also in Shastra has the meaning of mithya. So etc. In Bhagavad Gita itself, nasato vidyate bhavaha nabhavo vidyate satah. There the word asat has been taken as a mithya. Otherwise, sat means which can never disappear. Asat means which never appears. There is something in between. Appears and disappears. Appears and disappears. That is mithya. Appears. You undergo an experience. Disappears also. The whole world is like this. So, Sapna Tulyaha comparable to this dream. This world also is comparable to the dream. So, person in dream will never accept dream as unreal. Even the dream guru and dream god comes and dream and tells that this is all unreal. Well, he will say, you don't know this. This is what it is. So anyway, verse 7. Tavat satyam jagat bhati shuktika rajatam yatha yavannagnayate brahma sarvadhishtanamadvayam. So any unreal object basically, is real from the standpoint of another unreal object. That's what is now we are discussing. Any unreal object becomes real from the standpoint of another unreal object. Because both are in a same plane. So like for a dream physical body, the dreamer, which is unreal of course, the dream dog which is chasing him will be real. The dreamer itself, the dream physical body is unreal. For such a dreamer which is unreal, the dream dog is real. And therefore, the biting of the dream dog also is real. The blood comes out all of this from the body also is real. Going to the doctor is real. Doctor is real. Taking an injection, antihydrophobic or what. So that also is real, etc. Everything is real. All from the standpoint of dream physical body. Right? All this is true or real from the standpoint of dream physical body. So the question is whether the dream world is real or unreal. Well, we have not to answer immediately. So from which standpoint we should say? Well, from the standpoint of the dream physical body, definitely it is real. From the standpoint of this waker's body, this gross body, it is unreal. So shifting the reality. Well, if you want to come out of the problems of the dream world, definitely shifting the reality. One has to wake up. That's it. Same way here, right now also in this world, well, several problems which we are facing, which I talked about, raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, etc., all these problems. One wants to come out of this samsara, well, one has to wake up. And further waking up is called Atma Jnanam. So Vedanta is basically drawing your attention from the less real to the more real. So in verse 7 here, Shankaracharya ji says, this reality of the Sapraprapancha will continue as long as this Nidra, the sleep, continues. From the standpoint of dreamer, well, basically dream world is real. From the standpoint of a waker, dream world is unreal. So dream hunger goes by only dream food. Dream thirst will go by this dream water, etc. Same way when somebody asks this question whether this world, waking world is real or not, well, again don't say blindly yes or no. Well, definitely from the standpoint of a waker, well, who has identified with this physical body, which we have seen, so this world is taken as a real. So when one wakes up further to one's higher nature, that I am consciousness, etc., well, I am not a waker, I am not a dreamer, I am not a deep sleeper, but I am just a witness consciousness, right? Then definitely, then these problems pertaining to the waking world also will resolve. So Shankaracharya says, Jagat Satyam Bhati, world appears to be real from the standpoint of the I. Which I? This body, mind, sense complex. I have placed the I in rather than placing I in the consciousness, which is witness of this body, mind, sense complex, I have placed it in body, mind, sense complex. Well, that's a mistake. And therefore, yavat Brahman ajnayate. Well, till I don't know that I am Brahman, I am witness consciousness, I am Sakshi. Sakshat ikshate iti Sakshi. Sakshat ikshate. Because I am self-illumining, everything is basically automatically is witnessed. I don't illumine anything. I am self-illumining. In my presence, what is non-separate is automatically illumined. Like the sun is witness of the earth, they say. So sun is basically witness of the earth, means what? Sun is doing the illumination of the earth, etc. No. Sun illumines on its own, in its own glory. In its presence, the world automatically gets illumined. That is called, here also this is way, this Atma is self-shining. In its presence, what is non-separate, this body, mind, sense complex, well, automatically shines and have existence. So yavat Brahman ajnayate, unless I place the I in this Brahman, which is the reality, I know this Brahman, which is what? Sarva adhishthanam, adi plus sthanam, adhikam sthanam, place, adhikam, higher, which is a higher place in terms of reality. There are three realities we say because of our experiences. Three types of realities. One is a pratibhasika, subjective, like a dream. The dream world is experienced by you only. And that reality continues for some time, unless you wake, till you wake up. Once you wake up, it goes away. So this is pratibhasika, and subjective. Second is empirical reality, experienced by all. Right? But that reality also is empirical, transactional. If you know that actually this Jagat and Jiva both have Adhishthanam in this Brahman. Brahman alone is a substance. Other than that, names and forms all are non-substantial. Then this reality also goes away. It will remain for experience for everyone, but the reality will go away. So that is Sarva Adhishthanam. That's how it says Sarva Adhishthanam, which is the reality, ultimate reality for everything. You can say other way also. Adhisthana means I am a supporter. I am supporter of the whole world. Well, whole and like let's take an example of a dream once again. In a dream, well, I am supported by the dream place, dream space, dream time, and dream objects, food, etc., dream food, etc. But when you wake up, you find that the whole dream, space, time, and all the objects basically are supported by you. They were supported by you. So same way here also. So Vekar is Adhishthanam of a dream world. Same way, when you know that you are Brahman, basically, you will know that the whole world is supported by you. And well, I am the only one, Advayam, because that's I am the only reality. The names and forms are mithya. Therefore, they cannot divide this reality. So, Sarva Adhishthanam Brahma, Advayam. And being limitless, well, of course, one I is there, which is the Adhishthanam of everything. So, in first line, they have given example. So, waking up is a solution ultimately. That's what it means. And in first line, example is Shuktika Rajatam Yatha. Shuktika Rajatam Yatha. Yatha Shuktika Rajatam. So here, when I walk on the beach, basically, well, many shells are there and, upside down and shining also extra because of the sunlight, etc. So they appear like a silver coin. So the person approaches to take that, and when he picks up, he finds it is just a shell. So basically, this Rajatam, the silver is superimposed, projected upon the Shuktika, which is Satyam. Well, same way here also, this Jagat, which is superimposed upon the Brahman, is taken as a Satyam under the ignorance. For projection, we give two examples. One is the example of this Shuktika Rajatam, shell silver, and the second one is this our Rajju Sarpa, rope snake. And there is a reason for that. One example should be enough, but it is not enough. Because when the example of a projection of the silver on the shell you take, you will find that the person, while not knowing the reality, he goes towards to pick up. In case of a rope snake, well, the person basically runs away, well, after projecting. So there is a pravritti and nivritti, both. So that's how, once the ignorance and adhyasa, well, then it gives rise to this ragadvesha, pravritti, because of the raga for the silver and dvesha for the snake. So the projection, but taking as a real due to ignorance, and you will have a ragadvesha, will generate pravritti nivritti, and pravritti nivritti alone is called karma, which produces punyapapa, which produces new janma, maranam, etc. That way also samsara continues. So this is how it has been. So we always take two examples, either Shuktika Rajatam, either Rajju Sarpa. So one simple self-ignorance, well, has trapped the human being to such an extent. Verse number 8. Upadane khiladhare jaganti parameshware sargasthiti layan yanti budbudani vavarini. So because of this self-ignorance, well, false world is projected, and that false projection has been divided by Shankaracharya ji into two now. First is a projection of the macro world. And let us again take the example of a dream. In dream, well, definitely I project the huge dream world. Same like this. Dream space, dream time, all objects, sun, moon and everything. people, everything. So that is called a projection of a samashti. Under the spell of ignorance, sleep, which projects the samashti adhyasa. And also I project a dream body. Similar to this, because I have a vasana of this body for 60, 70 years or whatever. Therefore, I project a similar body. And so, Sapna Shariram also I project, Vyashti, Adhyasa, definitely. Sapna Shariram means the gross body, dream gross body is definitely projected upon whom? The waker. Dream subtle body is projected upon whom? The waker. Under the spell of ignorance. And the reality has been given to that. Therefore, the waker is not non-existent now, as though. And the dreamer is the reality. And also the dream world also is taken as a satyam. So, basically, two types of projections are there. Vyashti adhyasa and samashti adhyasa. Dream world and dreamer, the dream body. And because why should I project, why can't I project only dream world? Because to transact in the dream world, this body will not be useful. This body is lying on the bed, it is not available for transaction in the dream world. And that is how, and we are also sure. So even though when I go to sleep, I'm lying on the bed, I remove the specs. I should keep because it will be useful for seeing few things in the dream, but I never. The hearing aid which I use also I remove it. I should keep it because the sounds in the dream, to hear that this hearing aid will be useful. I keep away my denture also. It should be useful because I may be eating groundnuts in the dream. Well, I need all it. But so basically, what I am saying is this physical body and the sense organ, other instruments, all will not be useful. So to transact in the dream world, definitely you need a dream body with the dream sense organs and organs of action, etc., everything. So I create a fresh set of body, sense organs and sense and organs of action, etc. And then so the colors in the dream world are seen by the dream eyes, etc., dream specs. Similarly, this food in the dream world also is eaten by this the dream denture, etc., we can say. So I create basically a medium. The dream gross body called Bhogayatanam. It will be coming later for this waking world also. So it's called Bhogayatanam. And dream senses and mind and organs of action, etc., is called Bhoga Sadhana. For enjoying various experiences, various bhogas in the dream, I create them, to have a transaction with them. So one waker under the spell of ignorance becomes Bhokta, dream Bhokta, the dreamer, and Bhogya Prapancha. I bifurcate into two. So the remaining waker bifurcates itself into two, Bhokta, Bhogyam. So that if waker remains a waker, then definitely this division, the duality, is mithya. It has really not divided. But under the spell of ignorance, it happens. Similarly here also. Now this is an example. The pure consciousness will basically project this macro world and this micro body, etc., and then identify with the body. I become individual and transact with this waking world. So first Shankaracharya ji talks about now macro projection here. So this is first he describes what is a real I. Upadane akhiladhare, he says. Upadane. It's a description of a real I. So Upadane akhiladhare. Upadana means an essence. I, who is essence of everything, Upadanam, of the whole macro universe, including time and space, is Akhiladharam, and I am ultimate controller of this universe, like the waker is ultimate controller of the dream world, and waker is the essence of the dream world, basically. Same way here also, the consciousness alone is the essence of everything, Upadanam, and also I, the consciousness, is the ultimate controller of the entire this waking world. So, such a I, so upadane akhiladhare, parameshware, consciousness, Brahman, I the Brahman, on which, well, definitely, jaganti sargasthiti layan yanti, jaganti is a plural, jagati jaganti, it's a 1 by 3, jaganti yanti, so all the worlds, well, undergo this sargasthiti layan yanti, so they appear in this limitless consciousness, they appear, they have existence, and they are resolved. So all these galaxies and everything, it's an amazing thing. It's mind-boggling. Our eyebrows will rise like this. The Carl Sagan was describing, he sent some, I think, some space vehicle, right, before few years outside the boundary of this our solar system. And he describes that as if he is sitting in that vehicle and seeing the earth and everything. And then he says everything is disappearing slowly as the vehicle is going away. And he says the solar system, everything as though become a speck kind of a thing. And later even that also disappears. So he's saying in all entire galaxy, we have one solar system, millions of stars. One of the star is sun. In that also, well, it has its own family. And we are on the earth. On the earth also we are in one continent here. And in this continent in one state. In one state also in one particular place. In that place also, well, in one room. And sitting in that 2 by 2 place. That I, well, is taken as, means I have no existence in this entire universe. Instead, I am not even a speck. Basically, but Vedanta says, well, the whole universe is a speck in me. Very difficult to swallow. Only thing is shifting. Thing is shifting, the I. If you think that you are the body, mind, sense complex, this thing you will not be able to assimilate. If you see the reality of you is consciousness, that there is nothing away from the consciousness. Nothing is away from consciousness, then nothing is without consciousness, nothing is besides consciousness. Whether inside, outside, I am going to talk about it, but therefore, everything is in consciousness, including space. Then where is the question of one galaxy or anything? So when you shift your vision, and that is a reality about you, that I happens to be somehow, because of the ignorance, in the anatma there is Atma buddhi. Atma has been taken as anatma, and therefore you feel you are just speck in the whole universe, because the body has a location. Body has a location, gross body has a location, subtle body has a location in the gross body, and you identify with that, and then you feel this is not true. When you understand you are just consciousness in which space, time and everything are non-separate, they appear and disappear, well then this makes sense. So sargasthiti layan yanti budbudaniva. Every galaxy is a bubble. I am like a water, I am like a water. So in front of which all galaxies, they are just bubble. Each galaxy definitely may survive even for millions of years, let us say. But from the standpoint of a timeless Atma, the consciousness which is free from the time, even millions of years also are like a bubble. And that's why somebody told a story that Devas were having a satsang with the Lord. And in the Vaikuntha, well, let us take that way. So in Vaikuntha they were having a satsang, and suddenly they heard a huge noise down below on the earth. And they asked what happened. So Bhagavan said, well, Ravana is born. He just completed this sentence, and again a huge explosion. Then again they asked, now what has happened? He said, Ravana is gone. So this is geological time. I mean, in such a geological time also is like a bubble in front of a timeless Atma. So basically from infinity of time, these are all fleeting moments. And we used to have so much worry about our small issues, basically. So let us raise our level to a higher self, basically. Otherwise, a small tragedy. There is a meditation called expansion meditation, in which one does an expansion meditation looking into the various phenomena occurring in the universe. Then, definitely in your life, whatever events are happening will have a less impact on you. Anyway, so they are all events, all these events, including formation of galaxies or whatever. Event like a bubbles, Budbudani, Sargasthiti Layan, Jaganti, Yanti, all these worlds arise, Sargaha, Sthiti, they exist, and Layaha, resolve. Budbudani, they are like bubbles. Verse number 8, verse number 9. Satchidatmanyasute nitye, Satchidatmanyasute, Satchidatmanyanusyute, Nitye Vishnau Prakalpitaha, Vyaktayo Vividha Sarvaha, Hatake Katakadivata. So it is Vivida, you just Dakara instead, the fourth one, Dakara should be there. This verse also has almost a same meaning like a previous verse. In earlier verse, Parameshwara has been told. Generally, word Ishvara comes, then we think it is Shiva. This is commonly used. So, Shankaracharya ji does not want to have any such partiality. So now he converts this Ishvara into Vishnu. So he says, Vyaktayaha Prakalpitaha. Pravyaktayaha, these individual bodies, etc., Prakalpitaha, all of them are false projection on me, the Vishnu. Who is Vishnu? Viveshtiti Vishnu. Two meanings are there. Viveshtiti Vishnu, one who pervades everyone. Or Sarvasmin Vishati, iti Vishnu. Vish dhatu is there. From that word Pravesha, etc. also is there. Sarvasmin Vishati, one who enters in everyone as a self, as essence, because of which everything is available for existence and illumination. That Atma basically is one. For that, for this word Vishnu is used. Or Viveshti, one who pervades everyone. Pervades like what? Not the blanket pervades the body. Yeah, that's a pervade comes means we feel that some Ishvara pervades like this. The way water pervades a wave. The way gold pervades a ornament. The way the clay pervades the pot. Arthan mein. That way. Essentially only. That's Atma. Gold is Atma. Essence, truth. Same way, this alone is Atma. So here Vishnu does not mean this Shankha Chakra Gadadhar. It's a one costume for worship, etc. But here Vishnu means who is all pervading, space-wise, Nitya, time-wise, limitless, Nitya, which is timeless, Satchidatmani, and whose nature is existence and consciousness. Existence and consciousness, people feel that exist. So Atma has one aspect, Sat, other aspect, Chit, third aspect. Consciousness is the being. Everything has a being in consciousness. That's it. Nothing exists independent of consciousness. Consciousness is the only being. Consciousness, Chit, being the Sat. Chit is Sat. Everything exists like the wave has a being in water. Wave has a being in water. There is no independent wave. That's how I said, wave is not without water. Wave is not besides water. Wave is not away from the water. That's it. Same with the whole world. Anything you name, you will not say Satchit, it is there. Anything. Any damn thing. Hearer. Hearer consciousness is. Hearer is never away from the consciousness. Hearing, never away from Satchit. The object of hearing, sound, never away from Satchit. You say hearer, Swamiji. I would say hearer is. Okay? True or false? True. Hearer consciousness is. All are same. You say hearer, I say hearer consciousness is. Same thing. Is consciousness pervades everything in the creation. Invariably. Invariably. And it has and everything, the so-called objects of consciousness, has a being in this Satchit. Exactly like a wave in water. Swamiji, exactly means I will compare further. Water is inert. Your consciousness is conscious. Eh? Example has its own limitation. So, basically, this is the way. The whole world is, and water, remaining water, the wave arises, have existence and resolves. Always non-separate. The wave is, means the easiness of the wave is the easiness of the water. This is how it is. So, Nitye Satchidatmani Anusyute. Anusyute, pervaded by this Satchidatma, the entire world, this waking world. And so, because of that consciousness alone, well, certain things are conscious, certain things are inert, but still everything is pervaded by consciousness. Where there is subtle body, consciousness appears there, makes the thing conscious, sentient, and other things are, well, inert, still pervaded by the consciousness. Without pervasion by the consciousness, nothing will be experienced. And therefore, if you say, well, like a dream tiger. So from where the dream tiger gets consciousness? Waker alone lands. And the dream tiger stands on the earth. That is not conscious. Dream tiger is conscious. So I lend consciousness to dream tiger. And but the whole thing still is waker. Whether that land on which the dream tiger stands, on the dream tiger, everything is just one waker. Right? So because this division between inert and conscious, etc., is based on a presence of a subtle body, etc. That's it. There is nothing more than that. Ultimately, everything has a being in this consciousness. Without that, nothing can exist. Wave cannot exist without water. The wave is non-separate from the water. So, Satchidatmani Nitye Anusyute. Well, so same way, I also lend consciousness to various forms. Certain forms means including subtle bodies are there where I manifest. And other things also are non-separate from the consciousness. So this is how, and the example they have given is Hatake Katakadivat. So Hatake Katakadivat means, Kataka means a bangle, Hataka means the gold. So suppose I take a bangle and ask you, well, is it a solid substance or not? Well, all of us will say definitely the bangle is a solid substance. Well, it's clean solid substance we say, but it has got so much of weight and this and that. But really speaking, the katakam, I mean any ornament, bangle, etc., has no weight. The touch of the bangle is touch of the gold. Weight of the bangle is weight of the gold. The taste of the bangle is taste of gold, right? And therefore it is non-substantial. So basically, bangle is a non-substantial name given to a particular form. In dream also, this Vyashti, I bring that example because it is easily understood here. So in dream also, this Vyashti Samashti has no weight. The dreamer and the dream world has no weight. Substance is only waker. So in the waking universe also, which appears very solid, but it is empty, weightless, non-substantial, unreal, etc. So body also is unreal. Here Satchit only is real. Only Satchit is real. Inside. Whatever you say, you will have to say Satchit. Thought consciousness is. Right? Thought consciousness. Well, senses consciousness. Sight consciousness. Weak sight consciousness. Powerful sight consciousness. Heart consciousness. Memory consciousness. Emotion consciousness. This is such a solid thing. Is nothing but Satchit. That's it. Satchit. Without Satchit, no name and form can exist. And therefore, Satchidatmani Anusyute. Just as the bangle is mithya, non-substantial, the gold alone is the substance. Same way here, every body, well, is ultimately Satchit. That's what. Anatmani. That's a nature. That's the swarupa of the everything. And here the word Vishnu is used. Means basically, here, the names and forms are many. The substance is one. That's what it means. So word Vishnu that way is really, in Vishnu Sahasranama also 1,000 names are there. And each name has a different meaning, but ultimate meaning is one Vishnu. Vishnu alone is a substance. The 1,000 names given to him, they are non-substantial. The substance, the reality is Vishnu. Vishnu only gains this name. Same way here. So, Vishnu prakalpitaha, vyaktayaha, vividaha. One name and one form is different from the other. Swamiji said in the morning very beautifully. One form is different from the other, but it is all non-substantial. Vyaktayaha means individuals. All these names and forms are non-substantial. The substance is myself, the consciousness, Satchit, which is Vishnu, which is all-pervading, which is Nityam, which is timeless. That's how it is. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
One moment.
Standing? Yeah. That's fine. आपको जाना है स्वामी जी? Just 1 minute then. Okay, thank you. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, good evening, all of you. I'm happy to share a few points with you.